Right, it's the beginning of August 2021 and it's time to look towards the future in the form of midsummer sowings leading into autumn and then taking us through into the winter months and beyond. So let's do that today. I'm going to be selecting some seeds that we're going to be favouring to start off right now for that very purpose. So bear with us, sit back, get your popcorn out and enjoy. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay guys, excuse me. That's tonight's selection. So we've got the bolt hardy beetroot, most popular for early sowings. Well, it's a late sowing this, in fact it's just going into August now, so it's a little bit too late when you look at the packet, but we're going to give it a whirl, you know what I mean. We've got Savoy cabbage there at the side. Virtus 2 is the variety of Savoy cabbage. Again, that should have been sown at the end of July. We're coming into August now, but we're still going to sow it. We're still going to give it a whirl, both of those. But we're starting tonight, so it's the very early part of August. On to all the year-round cauliflower. That's a Wilco's job, that one. And it can be sown more or less all the year round. As you can see there, it's suggesting August as the late sow date. But that's fine. That's going to be okay. We're hopefully going to get some crops off that. On to this one. Okie dokie. So we've got the Giant Winter, a good flavoured spinach there. Giant Winter. Got two different sorts of winter spinach here, to be honest with you. We've got the Giant Winter and we've got this Piano F1, which again you can sow and it will grow through winter. But an alternative is an oriental plant called Komatsuna. Again, with this one, you can sow this more or less all the year round. In fact, it does suggest that you can sow it from January through to December, that particular plant. And it is a very dark leaf green plant full of iron. Good for you. What I like about these king seeds is it does actually give you some nutritional information on the pack. If you look at that spinach there, the Giant Winter spinach, it'll explain that it's a good source of vitamins A and C, lutein and fibre. And with the red pak choi at the end there, the red choi F1, gives you obviously the sowing dates. Again, that's August, so this is this month that we need to get that in the trays. But it's a good source of vitamins A, C, K and B6 and trace elements. Doesn't explain what the trace elements are, but you can use your imagination, I suppose. Very good for you. All these leafy greens are what are going to be giving us our nutritional supplementary vitamins and minerals all the way through, hopefully through winter, because these will be growing over winter. You can take some of them as baby plants, obviously, but we want plenty of leaf on the go, leafy greens on the go. And beetroots, again, very good for you. Good source of beta carotene, calcium, iron and folic acid. So if you're a pregnant lady, that's good for you. I'm not a pregnant lady, but it's still good for me. So we're going to crack on with that. This is our mix, or it shall be our mix once it's mixed together. It's about 25 to 30% of the vermiculite with compost. This particular one's clover compost, because that's what I've got, which is obviously peat-based, and we won't be able to get that shortly. But while we've got it, we're going to use it. Trays-wise, I've got 6 trays here for the leafy greens, and I've also got 2 trays of 20 cells over there, which are going to be for the beets, for the beetroot. So yeah, let's get cracking. I'll mix all that together and we'll make a start. No nutrition in that, as ever. When you're starting the seeds off, you don't want to give them any nutrition. Let the seed do the work, let the roots seek out that nutrition. So yeah, that's about, I say, 25 to 30% vermiculite, which is a sort of medium grade vermiculite, medium to fine, really, looking at that, and then your clover compost. So it's going to be a decent mix for the seedlings. Okay, now if you look at that bolt hardy beetroot, today's date is the 2nd of August 2021, so really that's coming up to close to a year out of date, that seed pack. Now we're going to be doing 40 in the cells. The germination rate's going to be reduced, obviously, because of the expiry on the seeds. But as an experiment, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to try and see which kind of a germination we get from these. I'll be putting 2 seeds per cell, and hopefully by that method we're going to get some results from them and get the seeds off and running. Just because they're out of date doesn't mean they're not viable, but your germination rates are going to tend to be a lot less, so we're going to double up and then see what happens from there. We'll get some seeds out of them. Some seedlings out of them. I've no fear about that. But you've just got to bear that in mind, that if you're going to do that with older seeds like that, you're not going to get that germination. You're not going to get that hit rate that you would with fresh new seeds. So yeah, that's one thing to bear in mind. So let's get these into the cells and see how we get on. Yeah, so if you don't use them, you will definitely eventually lose them. So I don't like throwing potentially viable seeds away, so let's give them a whirl. They'll only get thrown away if I don't, so I'm going to do that. But also I think in the week I may get some fresh seeds as well, so that we've got some guaranteed beets, because we do like beetroot. And you know, they'll take about 3 months to get to a decent golf ball size, which is the size that I want to take. And we're going to be harvesting them probably into the autumn months. End of October, that kind of thing, or October, November. But yeah, we'll see how we get on with these ones, which are out of date, and that could be the first experiment of the late summer season. So there's our seed tray, and we need to make some impressions into the seed cells. Just a little dab down. It's always as well really to check on the packet as well. I sort of do it by experience, but if you look at that, sow thinly in shallow drills, 1/2 inch deep. Now 1/2 inch is about that, just over a centimetre, 12 millimetres or so. So just bob them down into there, all the way over, all the way along. I've tapped down the tray so that the compost settles in the cells. I will top it off and give it a slight firming on the top. So there's your holes made. It's ready to receive then the seeds that are in there. If you look at those seeds, they're like a sort of double crown shape on top of each other. I'll show you one actually. Yeah, all your kinds of beets and chards look quite similar to that. And they're quite easy to pick up and pop into the holes, but I can't do it one-handed. Okay, so those are our seeds. Just pick one up in your paws and drop one into each of the holes in the cells. So I'll carry on doing that all the way across until I've got the 20 filled, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so they're all in there. As you can see, there's a central seed in its little depression in the soil. At every station, every cell. All we do now is we sprinkle on a little more compost over the top. Like that. Tap it down and remove any excess that we have. This is all we do. We do it every time. We have a pretty successful hit rate with it. So it does work. It's easy enough. Why overcomplicate it when it doesn't need to be? There's some sort of bloody little hornet up there. If you can see him making an elephant noise. Anyway, that's that. Okay guys, all the seeds are into the trays, all roughly to the correct depth, within a millimetre or so. Covered over, firmed down slightly so that the growing medium makes contact with the seed. All that remains now, some people mist and water from the top, but what I do is I just fill up the watering trays, and what happens then is that the whole cell is moisturised and remains moisturised for about 3 or 4 days, and that will then should crack the seed and produce the seedling. So that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to fill up those trays with water. Now the water I'm going to get from the tap initially. Sometimes I get it from my water barrels, but I'm going to get it from the tap this time. And yeah, Bob's your uncle. In these conditions, yeah. So these conditions, warm, relatively sunny, but with showers and a little bit overcast from time to time. A sort of hit and miss mix of weather at the moment. We're going to have the moisture in the atmosphere, and we're also going to have the heat and sun. So it's going to be pretty ideal conditions for seed starting. So they should be fine. I'm just going to take my watering can now to the tap, and they're each going to get about 3.5 litres in each tray, and that'll produce a sort of like 3/4 of an inch of water in, which will then soak into the cells. It should keep them moist, as I say, for about 3 or 4 days, and I'll just keep an eye on them then. Once the seeds burst through, you keep them damp then. I surface spray over the top just to keep the surfaces damp then, and then the seedlings have got a bit of a chance, but you don't want to overwater, never overwater. And once the seedlings have burst through, it's just a matter of keeping another 1/2 inch or whatever in those watering trays so that they can maintain the moisture. I never really I try not to overwater. So if it drains away the water and it gets absorbed up by a process of capillary action into the compost, and as long as we can keep it relatively damp, a little bit of moisture in the soil, the roots will grow and fill up those cells. So once the roots have filled up the cells and the plants are around about 10 centimetres or roughly 4 inches tall, they're ready for planting out. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, this is 15 minutes later, and all the soil is dampened. You can see there, picking up the muck. It's capillary action. I tend to call it osmosis, but it's not osmosis, it's capillary action. It's like a sponge, it draws up the moisture. And then the little seeds underneath the soil get damp. Get the idea that it's time to hatch, and then hopefully do hatch and turn into seedlings. I've had a bit of a change around, so I've moved all the plants that were here originally into the and put the trays in there. I've got the onions that were dangling yesterday from off of that cold frame, and I just put them in here now in the racks. These are the wider racks, the wider grid racks. So those are the ones that we prepared earlier. And those are the new ones. These were the overwintering ones, which were the Japanese ones, Senshu. And these ones are called Stuttgarter, which are a much more flat and rounded onion. I like them though. I like the look of them. I like the cut of the jib. Got some more of those in the ground as well. We've also got some Globo, which are the big ones. Hopefully they're going to be, fingers crossed, big onions, which we started from seed in January this year, which is a little bit later than Dino does. I think Dino starts his in late November, his big onions. Dean's lost the plot, but yeah, they're looking all right, aren't they? Looking nice. Just checking my tomatoes now for aphids or anything that may be on them, and I can't see anything. The leaf looks nice. These are the feed, if you remember yesterday, but they're looking all right. I might need to trim some of the leaf back, but not too much. Don't go too savagely with the trimming of the leaf. Just take a couple out from the end there, leave the rest on, because it does need to have that photosynthesis. So if you take too much leaf off, it'll stress the plant. That wants a cane. I only had a small cane at the time, I think. There, look. This one's got its a big cane. You have to be careful here, because that's touching the plastic, and we don't want that. It's come out of its little harness. To sort something out with that. But yeah, I might have to trim some of the leaf, but I'll keep banging my head on that. Look at that. Keep banging my head on that. I might take that down, to tell you the truth. Yeah, got some more cukes coming on still. They're still flowering as they're going up. And that's alright, because the trellis system that we set up at the back, the tendrils from the cucumber plant are attaching themselves to it, and it's just naturally coming on and hoisting itself aloft. May need to alter that and bring that round to the front if I possibly can, because there's a runner going up at the back there which isn't going to be supported. But that's something for me to worry about, isn't it? Yeah, the upper leaves are looking good. We're getting a little bit of mottley on the bottom, which you might look into. But all in all, the plants are looking quite healthy, so I'm not too concerned about it. These suckers need to come out though, where you come across them in the crook, because we're single stemming, what's known as single stemming. We take those out. I'm going to tie that on there now as well and let it continue to run up. I'll just put it round there for a sec. Let it be supported by its cane. Yeah. These are looking good, aren't they? Plenty of abundance on these, and we're getting some reddening up there. Always try and leave the blossom end, the blossom onto the blossom end, and let it fall off naturally. Don't disturb it. That's a tip for you. Don't disturb it. Right, I'm going to get some of these more of these cherry tomatoes that are on here. These super sweet 100. Take them home for the kids. There's about 15 there for them. We took a load off the other day, if you remember, but they just keep coming, and the growth and the vine is coming all over this plant as it continues on to grow. I did head that off there, but it's continuing. Nature finds a way, boys and girls, and it's continuing on up there. I might actually take that out because I've not got anything on it at the moment. I'm going to snip that runner out there. Yeah, because I don't want them going all over the place, these, to be honest with you. I'm happy with the way that they're growing at the moment, so I might stem them off. But yeah, we're getting further growth. If I don't stem them off, I'll have to run them over to here, but it's going to crowd everything out, that. So I want to keep a bit of plant husbandry going. So yeah, I'm going to have to take that out. It's doing me head in that now. Now I've seen it. Yeah, off it comes. That's alright. We'll leave that at that. Yeah. You just got to support them, look after them, tend to the plant. It's quite therapeutic. So as I say, as you're going through and you're looking at these, that's a runner that we've got there. A sucker that's coming out of here and running up. So let's see what we've got on there. We've got a bit of blossom on there, but nothing too drastic. I will take that out. Because I need to sort out the support for that plant. So yeah, I'm going to take that out off camera so I can do it carefully. Yeah, so this one is an Alicante. Nice salad tomato, good sized salad tomatoes these. But it's getting a bit rampant, so I'm going to trim back some of the leaf because it's shading out that cucumber plant as well, and I don't want it to go too overbearing on everything else. There'll be a little bit of trimming done. The sun gold I'm going to leave, but the Alicante I'm going to trim back a touch. And the same with this one, because it's developing a real bushy aspect to it. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of trimming. Okay, so they've had a bit of a trim, a bit of a haircut, just to open it up. And what that does is it lets the air flow, and it also lets the sunlight get through to the fruits and assists in the ripening process for them. So that sun gold in the middle there is flanked on both sides by your Alicante. They're looking alright. Not looking bad. Tied them in. I put another cane in there just to support that leader as it goes up, so that can carry on then to the top, and then I'll nip it out at the top. I've de-suckered it, took the suckers off, as I have done with all of them. You just got to keep an eye on that, really. Just have a look around every time you come down, make sure there's, like that one there, that's a new one. It's a new sucker coming out. Bend to the left, bend to the right, and off they come. Same with this one. Just nips out. When they're small like that, they just nip out. But yeah, you've got to keep your eyes open, because turn your back for 2 minutes and they're all over them, all over your plants. Yeah, they're looking alright. So just checking the tomatoes for any afflictions that they might have, such as blossom end rot or even cat facing. These are all ailments that the tomatoes can suffer from if they're deficient in something, or they've been overwatered, gone through dry spells, not enough calcium, that kind of thing. They can be afflicted by certain ailments. But luckily, so far, we're not seeing any. They're looking okay. Is that alright? If you spot anything, guys and girls, let me know, but I'm not seeing much. You've got to keep an eye out for aphids and green fly, that kind of thing. Not seeing it, not seeing any. Fingers crossed. Starting to redden up some of these as well, the basket of fire. Looking okay. Yeah, they're doing alright, aren't they? As am I, in my professional attire. Company representative today, me. Doing the do. So yeah, we're getting in there. It's all looking nice. We're keeping on top. Got another cucumber. It's a standard size one now. I'm going to get some more of them tomatoes actually. Got some more peas. Peas in the pod. They always go down well at our house, the peas in the pod. The French beans have started to come along as well. I'll just show you them quickly before we go. So if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we had the lazy housewife, and we had these, what were they called now? Cosse de Violet. And these are the climbing French beans. Fine beans, some people call them. But they've got the idea now, as you can see. You've had to help them along, a couple of them, to find the canes, but then they'll continue on up, climbing and climbing. I've not got any beans on them yet, but that's going to be about another 3 or 4 weeks before we start to get the beans on. But when we do start to get the beans on, we'll be picking and picking and picking for days off these. If they were anything like last year, you know, we'll get lots of bounty from these beans. I have been contemplating actually putting some more out, starting some more off, but it's a little bit late really. Depends what kind of an autumn and winter we're going to be having, because you do need about 12 to 14 weeks to get the full the full benefit from the plant. But yeah, this is what I was saying before. We've got all this space now that's opening up. There's some more of those Stuttgarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll take a couple of more of those out. But we're getting all this space that's opening up. I'm going to keep on top of the weeding, but the new plants that we've just started off there, the seeds, hopefully they'll be filling up these beds in about 3 or 4 weeks. We'll be able to start to put some of them out in about 3 or 4 weeks, because I have got plenty of space now. I've got open land. I've got some more of those brassicas that I can put into here. In fact, I've got brassicas to go out, to be honest with you. I've got 48 brassicas that I'm going to be filling up these hooped ones with. So that's going to be brassicas, that's going to be brassicas. That's going to be completed as a hoop tent this weekend, and that's going to be brassicas. And what we'll get inside there is we'll probably get around about, I don't know, about 10, cauliflower and broccoli. I've got cauliflower and broccoli. I've got 24 of each, so we're going to start to fill these beds up with them. But these open beds I'm not going to be covering. These are going to be for some of the crops you've just seen, for the beets and what have you, the beetroot. But yeah, I do need to get some that bed of Bradley's there, the big cage. That's going to be full of some of those. Probably the pak choi is going to be going into there. With the pak choi, I've gone for I think there's about 40 altogether. Pak choi. No, there's not. There's 20 pak choi. I'll get 20 pak choi in there, 10 aside. All right, happy Mondays. I've been good, Umafinda. You've been fantastic, beautiful and fragrant if you're a lady. You've been forthright, masculine and robust of character. There's a new one for you if you've been a gentleman. And yeah, keep growing with your heads down. Have a great week, boys and girls, and if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. We love you all. Take care, God bless, and namaste. Alright, catch you on the next one, guys. Ta-da!